So this is my 2014 Jeep Wrangler. It's a 4-door, and there hasn't been a lot of videos of these Jeeps with the 321 gears and 35s. So I'm gonna do a quick acceleration video real quick here. It's about half throttle. I'm not revving it out or nothing. The speed limit here is 55. So. But it's got the 3.6 liter Pentastar. It is an automatic Jeep. It's sitting on 35s. It's got a 3.5 inch Rubicon Express lift, Bilstein shocks. You know, pretty basic setup. It's a good setup, but it's a pretty basic setup. Right now I'm on my way. I'm kind of getting tired of those 321 gears. Heading right now on my way to the next town over, and gonna get a set of 456s put in and front lockers. Really and truly, I'm mainly doing this video because I just didn't find a whole lot out there. The JKUs, you know, they had a long run. 11-year run, 11.5 years, 10.5 years from 07 to early 2018, and I just don't find a whole lot of information or videos of actually showing, hey, what do these Jeeps behave like, you know, on stock gearing and lifting, and then versus once they're done. So once this is done, I am going to do another video with the 456s. So right now, I believe it's in 4th here. I'm going to use a manual shift. Yeah, so it's sitting in 4th, and that's pretty common for it. We're going up a slight grade here. Nothing too crazy. I want to see if I can't manually put it into 5th. Oh, wrong way. So that's 5th gear at 70 miles an hour. As long as you're on flat ground, it does okay in 5th. You can see it's, you know, my speedo has been recalculated. I did do that, but it's just running lower RPM, so it tends to get bogged down a little bit sometimes. All right, everybody. Well, I just picked up my little Jeep here from the gear shop in Lindale, Texas, and I had 321s before. Now it's got 456s, and I just want to do a quick kind of review on it and kind of let people know, hey, what do I think of the Jeep with 321s, and then now with the 456s. I did have some issues with the rear diff. They ended up having to change the carrier out. The spider gears or something was chewed up in the back, and we were going to go back factory, and then I told the guys, no, hold up, let's you know, I plan on wheeling this thing, and I have in the past. It's just kind of I don't want to go back stock. If I'm going to spend the money, let's do it right the first time. Let's not lollygag around. Let's just go ahead and do it. I wanted something very streetable. I didn't want something super aggressive. This is my daily driver, so I don't want something crazy. So I ended up just doing I went with an Eaton Truetrak. It's a limited slip diff. It doesn't have clutches. It actually has it's a mechanical locker. So when it's locked in, you know, it locks up real hard, nice, smooth, but locks in tight. It's not going to slip like some of the clutch units will. And right now I'm in a 65 mile an hour speed limit. I'm going to do kind of a RPM, let y'all look at the gauge closer here and let you see what I'm turning here. You can see I'm right at 65. The speedo has been recalculated. Yes, my Jeep does have 200,000 miles on it. I do drive it, and that's another reason I want it to be very streetable. But at about 65, which I am at now, it's about 2,500 RPM. Very reasonable. Once I get into a little bit better speed zone here, I'll get up to about 70. At 70, we're about 2,800 RPM, and then once we hit 75, we're almost at 3,000 RPM. What that does from a fuel economy, I don't know. I'll make another video here in a little while and let y'all know what RPM does to fuel economy. The Lyle meter right now, mixed highway in town is saying, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's saying 14.3. About what I was getting before. So far no real change. One thing I will say is this thing will get up and go. Right now I'm about a quarter throttle and I am keeping up with traffic and passing traffic. This thing is no longer a slouch. Alright, so we're getting close to that 70 mile an hour mark here. That is 5th gear, I'll show you. See, that's locked in 5th. I'll put it back on auto. What I'm going to do here, hopefully I don't run into traffic here, but I'm going to set 70, and that's cruise control set. And we're going to have a long downhill here in a second. I'm actually going to have to slow down here in a second. Let me get kind of away from traffic. This is one of the things I wanted to do. Slow down just a second here. Then we're going down a pretty steep grade. I don't know if you can kind of see that on camera there. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up to my 70. I'm just going to press resume. This is a pretty decent grade. Before, with the 321s, it would downshift to about 3,500, 4,000. It's still in 5th. It hasn't downshifted. It looks like I just downshifted into 4th. So it's still having to work a little bit. That 4th gear for a little while. Hold the 4th gear for a while, actually. There it goes. That also may have to do with transmission calibration. The guy said he calibrated the transmission, so it may take a little bit for it to kind of settle in and get all these shift points rebuilt again and kind of, you know, get itself used to it and all its points. We're going downhill now, but so this is what we're looking at. You know, if you go with 456s, at this point I can't recommend them. I can't not recommend them. I've only had them on here for about 15-20 miles, so not long enough to really tell you I like them or dislike them. From power standpoint, I like them. They're in town a few minutes ago. I really had to kind of get into it, and this thing jumped through its butt and got to move on. From a fuel economy standpoint, because it is a daily rig, I don't know yet. I got to go out of town for a little while, work-wise, and I come back, so I want to drive it more when I get back. But yeah, I guess really time will tell whether I really like it or not. It's gonna be kind of an interesting deal, and it's a lot of money to re-gear, and that's one of the reasons I'm making this video. You know, it's a couple $1,000 by the time you do. I did a front lunch box. I didn't for what I do, I don't think I really need anything more than a front lunch box. Eventually I would love to go with an e-locker, but just the funds aren't there right now. So you know, if I ever upgrade to that, plus this has a Dana 30. I don't want to spend e-locker money yet on a Dana 30. I think I'd rather go to something different. Plan eventually to go to 37s maybe. Another reason I went with the 456s. What I'm going to do from a standstill here, red light just turned green. There is traffic ahead of me, so I can't just, you know, goose it. But sorry, the steering wheel's in the way. Something about driving. I'm going to get on it a little bit here. That's about half throttle. And that was 60. I mean, this thing, again, this thing's sitting on 35s, and it's just a bone stock 3.6. It's automatic. it gets a pretty good move on, I will admit that. And I have played it with a little bit, so that's not gonna help the fuel economy any. But yeah, that's what it is. And alright, so here you can see it. That's pretty much locked in at 75, maybe a little over. I'm about to go up a grade. I don't know if you can see that or not. This is East Texas, so we don't have no giant mountains, but it's a pretty good grade for around here. The road's kind of rough as well, but see how she does here. Looks like she just had to downshift. I think I've noticed it likes 70 more than it does 75. I don't think that's anything to do with the gearing. I think that's the fact that this is a brick. I mean, you're basically pushing a brick through the wind, and it's just not designed. Mostly big 35s and a bumper and a winch and everything else in the front of it. At the end of the day, you gotta realize this is a brick. And you can kind of feel it too, pushing real hard. I honestly would say 75 is probably, or I mean 70, pardon me, yeah, 70, I think honestly that's about the sweet spot, at least on mine. Would I have gone doing things different? Would I have gone maybe 410s? Yeah, maybe. I think 410s at 75 would have put it right at about there. And maybe I think I'm saying that mostly because I live in East Texas. Most of my travels are going to be down south, down here. I overall really like them. Oh, sorry, my radio just went crazy. So far, I like the 456s. And the reason I went with them was because I do have a boat that I do pull with it. I do have a small utility trailer that I do pull with my Jeep. Once we kind of get settled in a little bit more and some things get squared away, the wife and I are wanting to eventually maybe get a small camper. And this Jeep, along with her Grand Cherokee, will be the two main ones pulling it. And that's why I chose to go with the lower gearing. If I never pulled a trailer, if I didn't, you know, I do drive a lot of highway, so that's not a factor. But if it was something like that to where I just never planned on pulling anything with it, or if it was just pulling stuff around town occasionally, you know, just lawnmower or, you know, stuff like that, I think I would probably go with 410s, or if you're a Rubicon or Rubicon with 410s, then that's probably plenty. Honestly, I don't know what fuel economy is. I won't know for a while. I'll keep y'all posted and see what I think fuel economy is, if it goes down or up compared to the 321s. But so far, I will actually say I like these gears. This engine doesn't seem to be screaming. It's not, you know, obnoxious inside the cab. At about 2,800, 2,800 RPM, it seems to be just fine. In town, where 60% of my driving is going to be done, even when I go into Oklahoma, and that 55 to 65, because Oklahoma has low speed limits, dead on. I'm not kidding. This thing is perfect. It doesn't downshift. It pulls hills. It is awesome at that 55 to 65 range. The only reason I would pick on these 456s is for that 70, 75 mile an hour driving. If you're doing a lot of it, like I do at times, you know, something to consider. But I also have my wife Grand Cherokee that I can borrow hers, and that's a lot. If I'm honest, I love my Wrangler. That Grand Cherokee is a lot more comfortable on a long road trip. But I do plan on taking this one on more road trips and stuff like that. So, but that's my 2 cents.